Hi, and welcome to Speak and Sketch presents The Art of Teaching. I'm Andrew Lawrence, and together with Paul Joy and Mark Schumann, we make up the Speak and Sketch team. We would like to share our thoughts on the teaching profession using a favourite historical text as a reference point, Sun Tzu's The Art of War. I wonder if you've ever heard of the 6-step teaching plan. In essence, it's that you will decide what you're going to teach in the last 6 steps you walk into the classroom. On many occasions, all teachers have used this strategy, but it is fraught with danger. Have you ever walked into a classroom and tried to wing it, fly by the seat of your pants, or just plain make it up as you go along? You say to yourself, I've got this covered, I've done this so many times before, and I know the content back to front. It's a trap, especially if you think that your students are receptive to anything you deliver, and you are relying on your personality and your skill as a performer to deliver the lesson. Let's face it, it's easy enough to fall into this trap, particularly when you are busy, under the pump, and maybe you are prioritising some of your other classes. We've all done it, and with experience this can work. But for a new teacher, this can lead to, at the best, tension and agitation, unwarranted stress, and at worst, a severe migraine, and you wanting to quit right now or climbing out the window and running for the hills. For the inexperienced, this situation can be a disaster. At times you need to think on your feet when plan A doesn't go right and you need to adapt quickly. However, you are always better to have a well-prepared plan with some contingencies in mind. This can be executed in your classroom. There should always be a plan B. Let's see what Sun Tzu has to say about the importance of preparation. Sun Tzu said, "With many calculations one can win, with few one cannot. How much less chance of victory had one who makes none at all?" Sun Tzu is adamant that reading the signs and proper calculations are crucial to the enterprise of war, and it's no stretch to see that in the classroom this is no different. He states that proper preparation will show one's strength to be superior to the enemy, and if the calculations suggest one cannot win, then the situation will be clearly apparent. Do your homework. Make sure you know the content which you will be teaching and the skills you hope to develop in your students. Think about what could go right, what can go wrong, and plan for it. I cannot even begin to count the amount of times something hasn't worked for me in the classroom. On most occasions, technology has failed me to the point where I'm a master of contingency plans. There is nothing worse than spending hours on planning a lesson and then to find out when you enter the classroom either the device you need is not working, the internet is down, or students have not brought their equipment. Like the Stoics of old, think about what can go wrong and plan for it, as well as think about what can go right and revel in it. One of my worst teacher moments was not in front of a classroom full of students, but a hall full of my colleagues. I had been dobbed in by some of my friends to represent my faculty on a staff training day and tell them about the wonderful way my faculty was using IT. I was quite proficient in the use of IT, but also very nervous, as I thought I wasn't worthy to be presenting in front of 150 to 250 colleagues, telling them what to do. Needless to say, as I moved to the lectern and set up my computer, everything went blank. I frantically tried to remedy the situation by trying all my tricks, but nothing was coming up. The IT team moved in and they couldn't fix the problem either. I was in a world of pain. I had all staff staring at me and it felt like all their eyes were boring into the same part of my brain, and I was physically wilting at the disappointment. I had put so much effort into the presentation and was ready to shine, but instead I was dying on stage. Thankfully, I had also prepared a booklet to support my presentation, and although not as good or the objective of the event, it got me out of a tricky situation, and having a plan B saved the day. Now it is embedded into my being that every time I present, I always have a booklet or that plan B just in case. Sun Tzu dedicates a great deal of the art of war to discussing preparation and cautions the general to make well-formed plans before entering battle. In his 4th chapter, Weaknesses and Strengths, he starts the chapter with the following quote, and Sun Tzu says, "Generally, he who occupies the field of battle first and awaits his enemy is at ease. He who comes later to the scene and rushes into the fight is weary." It is evident that good teachers are always thinking of better ways to engage their students and to deliver content to students to maximise their learning. Therefore, save yourself a bit of pain and put in the time to prepare effectively for your classes. If you have any tips or thoughts on this episode, please contact us using the links below.